Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to New Jersey Satellite Studio, where we show you the flavor of life here in the District of New Jersey.
Hey everyone, welcome back to INCRadio New Jersey Satellite Studio. Today we're talking about a big topic. We're talking about rejection, how it happens, when it can happen, and ways to manage yourself in overcoming those moments of rejection. I'm actually excited to talk about this. I want to share my experience of rejection and also to learn from our hosts and panelists. How about you, Jeff?
Oh, Maricel, it's kind of funny how rejection is something that hurts, but you know, let's no spoilers on this conversation. So, rejection does happen in all stages of life and avenues of life. It happens at home, with family, it happens at school, classmates, teachers, work, relationships, you know, other things, anything in life, you might get rejected. So today, the panel will share our experiences and tips on how to cope and how to move on from rejection in a more healthy way. And Leah, I think we have a question for Team Live Chat. What is it?
Oh, yeah. We always, we're here together so that we can learn to improve and get through difficult things together. I think since we all know each other, we're in the same circle on the show. Let's ask Team Live Chat. Team Live Chat, our live streaming audience, what are your tips to overcoming rejection? All right. So, like Maricel and Jeff said, this is a big topic, and this is something that happens to all of us. Even starting from a very young age, everyone goes through rejection. So, very simply put, rejection, as defined by many dictionaries online, it's refuse to accept, acknowledge, use, or believe. So when you get refused, when someone says no to you. So, and in the same way, overcoming synonyms. Another way to say overcoming is to conquer, defeat, control, solve, or beat. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's discussion. So we're actually excited because we also have Naima here with us today. Hi, Naima. How are you?
I'm good. How's everybody doing? Can you hear
Uh,
me?
yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. And I was going to say, you have a very melodic voice for a good reason. Anyone who knows Naima knows she is a songbird, a very, very good one. So I'm excited to have Naima on with us to talk about her experience with rejection. But let's get started. I know everyone has a lot to say. We only have a small window of time to share our stories, to share our tips. So, Naima, is there an instance throughout life, could be kid, student, teacher, personal, professional, that you experienced rejection, and how did you respond to it?
I think rejection is natural. It is also an everyday part of life. In order for you to learn about yourself, you gotta make mistakes, right? So there was an instance, if I could share, there was a time when I was a kid and I was just starting off trying to I love music, so I started singing. My siblings they didn't really love my voice. So I would sing my heart out and I would hear them yelling up the stairs, be quiet, be quiet. And now that I know in hindsight, they were just trying to watch their shows, kids being kids. I was interrupting that. But if I didn't want to sing, I would have stopped and, let what they said affect me. But I didn't. And I continued to pursue it. So to me, that's like a form of rejection, because the people who are pretty much closest to you is your family. So being rejected by them was hard, but it didn't stop me. I continued on, and failure for me as I continue to grow in music, it's just an opportunity to keep learning where you aren't great at something and to keep working at it. So that's just an
So
instance for
I
me.
have I have some follow-up questions. So how old were you? What this memory that you're bringing up? How old were you at the time when they were screaming at you to shut up or stop singing?
Yeah, I was about like 7, I want to say. 7. Yeah, 7.
7 years old,
Yeah, 7, 8, 9.
and so you know, in this moment when they would say this to you, did you cry? Did you just tell them to also be quiet or mind your business, or did you cry, or how did you respond to it?
I mean, it was
Do
a
you
gut
remember?
blow, like, it was more so just a bruise of the ego. As a kid, you think you're really doing something, and from your siblings, you're not really doing much. But I didn't cry, honestly. I just kind of like would be you're just resilient, continue to keep pushing. And
So
there were
you
moments where I was sad because I had talent shows that I didn't win. I'm like, well, maybe they're right, and things like that. But I don't know. Just as life progressed, different people came in my life to help me, and they believed in me, and they were like, "Look, keep pushing." And so it was like, even though they seen that I had times where I didn't do well, they wanted to, help me, and they put me in contact with people who were really successful at what they do, vocal coaches and things like that, to help me get where I want to be. And so just continue to keep pushing, having that love for it.
That's an amazing story, because you do sing professionally, and so coming from you, that I think that really means a lot, for especially for those parents who are watching, or even the kids that are watching the show, to know that the beginning could be rough. The people, I mean, from your story, like, you expected your siblings to support you, but they were like booing you basically, like, but you didn't know why. You didn't know why. You didn't know that you were interrupting their shows. Not that you sounded terrible. It was just your timing was bad.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
that
in a lot of ways too, like, you grow and you learn, like, and the more you learn, the more you take risk. I mean, I auditioned for, I don't know, I don't want to say if I
how
can
many
say, but
how many times did you audition for? How many auditions have you been to, would you say?
I've been to, maybe I would say over 10. It's
Yeah.
been a lot of auditions, and a lot of rejection, and a lot of good ones. So you get to different rounds and you're like, yay, and then they're like, no. So it's like different emotions. So it's like, you just got to keep working at it. And
But every time you didn't make the final cut, they would give you feedback on why you didn't.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
would.
okay. Well, that's, I mean, that helps with growth, right? So,
Hmm.
wow, that's a rough one. It's hard to be rejected by your family. I feel it. I'm trying not to get emotional today. So I know we're talking about stories of rejection, but also stories of overcoming. How did you overcome, right? So being resilient. Thank you, Naima. All right, we're gonna move on to Marisol. Marisol, do you have a story about time of failure and how you overcame?
Oh, for sure. Life is full of rejections, but I do want to share one experience of being rejected. Way back, maybe 10 years ago, I've joined a couple of, we're all familiar with like multi-level marketing companies, right? So I joined this one company, and I don't know if you've ever sat down on presentations like this, but when whenever you sit down for a presentation, it's like the energy level is so high. It's like everything is gonna go right, and while the person is presenting it and explaining to you what you need to do, and like multi-level marketing is like you know how it works, right? You have to get this person to sign up, and then that's when you're going to make your money. So while they were explaining those things, in my mind I'm already thinking, oh, this friend of mine, I'm sure she's going to support me. Or, oh, I have another friend who I'm sure is going to be supportive of this, and they will sign up. So you come out of the meeting with like positive mindset that you're going to make it, that you're going to be successful in this company that you signed up for. But then when you reach out for these friends or even family members, and they say, "No, I'm sorry. I'm not into it, or I don't believe in the product, or whatnot." So that that hurts, like, hey, that's my friend, that's my closest friend, even my family member. Like, why did you say no to me? Like, don't you trust that my judgment is right? right? Like, don't you believe what I believe in? So that is painful. That is painful.
So what happened to your friendship? Did you have a
Well,
conversation? Like, I want to know the ending to the story.
no, it hurts, but it's important to surround yourself with same-minded people, and because especially those who already have experience in being rejected in this kind of situation. So you have to surround yourself with these people and know that it's common to be rejected by friends and family members, but you have to bounce back, like bounce out of this emotion, of this feeling, and know that friendship, even if you're best of friends, it doesn't mean that you have the same thoughts, you have the same values, right? If it doesn't mean that you believe in this product, that they will believe in this product too. They rejected you not because of you. They did not reject your friendship. They just reject the product that you're presenting to them, right? So it's okay to be rejected by your friends and your family members. So what if you got rejected? Move on to the next person who will probably see the product the same way you saw the product, like you believe in that product. So just move on. Who's next? And then what's next? Just move on with the next person in your list.
Yeah, no, definitely. We have to move on. That's exactly the reason why we're talking about this, is because we know everyone experiences rejection in all avenues of life, in all stages of life. And we're trying to give each other tips and encouragement on moving on, right? Moving forward, moving on, not staying and staring and getting too deep into our very, very strong emotions and posting about it on social media, etc. Okay, we're gonna talk about that later. I see Naima like, yeah, we're on our phones and venting and yeah. So before we get to that though, let's go on to Jeff. Jeff, what about you? Do you have a story of rejection that you want to share?
Leia, do I have one story on rejection? I got many.
We only have time for one
Yeah, all right.
today.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But like, and to all the fellas out there, I'm sure y'all feel me. And even all the girls, all the guys, whoever it is, because whenever you think of the word rejection, what comes to mind? Relationships. Okay. So the one particular story, I have many. Okay, it was my second big crush. Imagine this, a teenage me. Okay. So just me without the white hair and fuzzy haircut. But I
I
was in
just
my
gonna
early.
say that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the the longer hair's a new thing, but yeah, but and just let's everyone take a trip in the Wayback Machine. Back when we had even before CD players, actually, I believe. Ouch. Anyway, so I'm in my early teens. She was a church mate that I've known for years. We grew up with each other, and you know, after a certain while, you stop being a boy, you have that transition, and then you start realize, oh, there are girls and they're kind of pretty. And I thought she was really pretty. So I had a crush on her for the longest time. It took a long time to get the courage to even just talk to her. So one day I didn't talk to her. instead, instead of talking to her, I got her flowers and I had them sent to her house because, I thought that was the romantic thing, as you do. You watch these movies and shows and like it's romantic. You give this girl flowers. Girls love flowers, right? So I bought her flowers, had them sent to her house, spent I think it was either like my first or second paycheck. Actually, no, my first paycheck was spent on cookies. I had it, sent to her house, and then waited a few days to see when it got delivered, and then gave her a call, and it was, hey, I sent you flowers. What'd you think? And then it was just that awkward silence, and you get that, and that call did not improve. It lasted a few more minutes after that, and then, I was upset. And I was on the tennis team at the time, so me and my best friend, we went to practice. I was just wailing on the ball, upset, and he knew because he knew I had a crush on this girl. And you know how it is, you know, ladies, if you don't know, when a guy talks to you, unless you just met him, he's been talking about this with his other friends, and and all the guys like, yeah, come on, you got to do it, you got to do this. Yeah, so that didn't work out well. And then the funny part was my mom had found out that I spent $45 on flowers getting them delivered to her house, and she didn't know what it was. And then she actually had to pull me aside one day, and she was like, she's like, Jeff, are you buying drugs? Like, where did this $45 go? Because at the time,
Oh
it was a lot of money. Leia, right?
no.
It was a lot of money. $45 back when we were teenagers was a lot of money. Um, and yeah, she thought I was buying drugs, and I'm like, oh no, mom, I bought flowers for beep. So and then she yeah. So she she didn't know, and then she found out. Then she's like, oh, and then the talk with my mom changed. She had to pull me aside, and she's like, well, Jeff, like, the nerdy guy doesn't get the pretty girl, and it doesn't happen this way. And what you see in movies and TV and radio, that's not how it is. So there's a certain reality to it. And also, I have to preface that too, because I say the nerdy guy doesn't get the pretty girl, but wait till decades later. There is a happy ending to this story.
I was gonna say your wife is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Who got
100% I
rejected
agree.
now?
Yeah, right? You're going to say, Jeff, you're going to say, well, thank you for rejecting me. Now I have this most beautiful girl in my life now. So thank
Right?
you.
Yeah,
Yes, I second that.
Yeah, she's
yeah.
beautiful. All right. So yes, I think we've all had our share of heartbreaks and disappointments when it comes to relationships, and it's painful. We're this the while we're discussing this, I know we're glossing over we're saying it's painful, but we're not talking about how painful it was. Like, was it reach for ice cream painful? Was it cut your hair kind of painful? Everyone copes in different ways. I usually eat, so I'm an eater and a shopper. I do retail therapy. I feel like it's a good distraction to feel textures, to see colors. Sometimes I know some people travel, when they're dealing with different kinds of rejection, whatever's in your budget or not in your budget, which is not a good way to cope if it's not in your budget. And while I talk about my instance of rejection, I'd like to ask everyone on the show today to think about advice you would give someone who might be going through a similar situation, or advice that you would have given to your younger self when dealing with that moment, if there was something that you would change or wish was different, something like that. And then we also have two teachers on today's panel. One is our mom teacher, and one is our teacher. So we're just going to go to them later as well to ask them for their tips on how they encourage their students and their kids about dealing with rejection. Or anything that they observe, especially Naima in your classroom, if the other students are the ones who actually are the peer group that helps them deal with rejection. Okay, so just quickly, I mean, anyone who's ever applied for a job at whatever age and you don't get it, when you think you had it in the bag, that's hard, especially when you have people to support, you have bills to pay. I know, especially in today's economy, it is so hard to get a job. The job that you want. Right? Everyone has this perfect idea in their job. And even within your job, you also apply for promotions. What if you don't get the promotion? This has happened to me so many times. So many times. It really does bring you down. Like, it makes you think, am I not smart enough? Am I not skillful enough? Like, what am I missing? Sometimes they tell you what the other candidates had. Sometimes you don't know. And sometimes you think, is it my resume? Is it my interview? Was it my introductory letter? Was it my thank you note? Did I do something at work? Was there an incident that, they didn't vote me to get the promotion? Sometimes it's a panel, you go through different rounds. And it is so hard. Like, I talked to my husband about it, and I really think deeper, like, how much did I really want this? What can I do? Like, how much do I want? How much more do I want to improve or, change the way I do things in order to get this, for example, promotion? I have those conversations with myself, and it's really hard because it's like, I think the real question is, what's wrong with me? Why didn't I get this? What am I missing? And I have to say that those low, very, very low times, I actually spend a lot of time being quiet. Being quiet. I say more prayers, of course, because my feelings are hurt. Um, and sometimes you just don't know. But what I have learned throughout the years of facing rejection, and not just, I mentioned jobs. That's very important because it's crucial to our survival. But also, even when you're in projects, people say no to you or they let you down, or they didn't do a good job because they didn't really want to. There's so many forms of rejection. What I've come to understand is maybe it's redirection. Maybe this isn't the thing for me as much as I want it, as much as and maybe this pain that I'm feeling is a way for me to learn that. So I try to. That's definitely one. Instead of saying what's wrong with me, I know there are a lot of things I can improve on. I have a lot of things I want to do with myself, but at the same time, maybe something else is meant for me. So maybe this rejection is making space for something that's even more amazing to come into my life. Like a better job, a better opportunity, better people, better projects. I don't want to say better cookies, Jeff, or a better food because I'm also not the best cook. So that's just, I think, a sign
But
for me to lose weight. So when I mess up, when I
but Leia, in line with what you're saying, I just wanna. I'm sure everybody heard of this saying, like when a door closes, another window opens. So it's good to always think of that saying, so that when you get rejected, know that there might be other opportunities out your way.
yeah, and it's I think it's good also what you said earlier to surround people who are like-minded, and we'll probably talk about this, or listen to things like this topic about how to overcome rejection, so one, you're not alone, and two, that someone else has been through it already and who's made it through fine and happy. All right.
To your
So
to your point, Sister Leia, I don't know where should we keep going or you.
yeah, go ahead. Whatever you want to say, Naima.
I wanted to say to your point with that, it's like it's always good to have somebody around you that knows you, because when you're in situations, especially like, if you're learning about yourself and your performance, it really is you got to separate you from performance. And the self cannot fail, but you could fail in performing. So like when you can compartmentalize those two things, like separate yourself from performing, that performing is just what you did and what you didn't do to, have the result that you wanted. But you know, can't fail because you're just being yourself, you're being you. But the performance aspect, there are things that you can add in or take out that will help you be better. So like if I look at myself and I perform, I need to always have somebody who knows me to help me remember, hey, it's not you, it's what you did or what you didn't do that caused this thing not to work in your favor. So it can help me in those moments where I'm like in my head, is it me? Because I've said that to myself. What's wrong with me? I've said that to myself many times. And that is, of course, down a rabbit hole. So yeah, like, so those mindsets, I think having somebody that that knows you, like, stop tripping, it's not you, you need to do this, like that. So that's what I would say to add to what you're saying.
Okay.
And
All
and
right.
yeah, it could have been the occasion too. Like for example, when you do apply for a job, and my wife can speak a lot about this because she's applied for so many jobs. There could be something there. It could have been an internal candidate. You don't know the external situation that would affect the outcome. And Naima, you're absolutely right. It was just the outcome of that one time. Maybe it happens again and again, but eventually, you'll get your win. Eventually, and it's not you. It's not your identity. You're not a loser. You just lost this one time.
Yeah.
It's like with sports. Like even the most winning sports teams will have the occasional loss, but in the end, they'll get the championship.
Hmm.
Ah, I feel better. Just kidding. I was like, I feel better. Okay, good. It wasn't
Yay.
me. It was my performance. And I think also what I learned in these moments is trying not to control the situation because you really can't control it. You can only control this person. What you do, what you say, what you look like. You can't control what everyone else is going through. Sometimes the interviewer's having a bad day and they're like, "Ah," you just walked in at the wrong time, the wrong moment. Okay, so let's hear from our teachers. We're first going to start off with our teacher, Naima. So, do you have any tips, observances about how to help students deal with rejection?
I tend to have children deal with rejection in regards to that their social aspect. So being able, because I work with kindergartners, you have to always talk it out. We do something called I messages where I'm helping them to communicate their feelings because they're always in their feelings. So you got to help them get it out or, be hurt. So, um, yeah, I help them do that. And I give them a tool and I always remind them to keep working at it. And then once they take it on, they feel better. So I think given the tools the kids can do it themselves, it helps them feel empowered as opposed to always being the one to like be the buffer. I mean, definitely the buffer if they can't get it together, but for the most part, they are self-sufficient. And it's also teaching young people to, as they get older to be able to communicate as adults too.
No, it's amazing. So communication and then giving them a tool to get through that moment. That's awesome. Okay. Okay. Now our teacher mom, Maricel, how do you teach your kids how to deal with rejection?
Okay, so first of all, if I know they're trying out for a team, right, like a sports team, I would communicate with them ahead of time. I will tell them, there's only two outcome in this tryout. It's either you're in or you're out. If you do, if it happens that you're not in this team, don't feel so bad. Don't feel that you're a loser or that you're not good and that you're totally gonna stop whatever is, say for example, playing basketball. It doesn't mean that you're bad. It only means that there's still things that you need to improve on, but keep trying. Don't stop your desire to play because maybe the coach didn't see the things that they're looking for in a player. So just keep trying. So give them a heads up ahead of time, and then after this situation, when they come to you and, they feel bad, like, Mom, I didn't make it. I feel so sad. Don't be so quick to say, it's okay. It's not a big deal, because it is a big deal for them. If you don't make it, it's a big deal. So don't be too quick to say, it's not a big deal. It's okay. But you have to validate their feelings. You have to say, I know it's so painful. I understand what you're going through. I would feel bad if I was in the same situation. So validate their feelings so that they trust you. So that next time, it's important for them to trust you, that you make them understand that you believe in them so that when other situations come again, they will come back to you and they know that I know that I can talk to my mom about my feelings. And there's so many other tips, that I can share. Another thing is Sister Nate, another thing is share your own experiences. Tell them that everybody experiences rejection, or point out to them situations in the past where they were able to bounce back. Like, see, you were able to bounce back, so this feeling of yours is gonna pass. It's just a feeling. Just keep on trying, keep on pushing, and one day you'll make it.
Wow. I feel like that applies to my adult life. I think adults, I think adults also need that kind of talk from their circle, the circle that they trust, right, Jeff?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
100%. And I really love, Marisol, what you were saying, because it actually reminds me of what's a scene from one of my recent favorite movies where there was a father and a son, and the son was like, Dad, what if I can't do this? What if I'm not meant to be a great leader? What if I'm not meant to blah, 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 blah? And then the father said, well, then in the end, you'll be my son, that's all I ever really wanted you to be. So
Oh,
yeah, you have that
that's nice.
connection. And Marisol, high five for that one.
There you go.
Right.
I feel like I feel like I've seen this movie, or yeah, it's a famous movie. All right, all right. So, before we close out our discussion, any other tips that you want to share about overcoming rejection? I feel like feeling your feelings is best, is also a good way to cope. Give yourself a day to stay in bed if you need to and cry it out. I know our team live chat is also giving great suggestions. Um, reaching for ice cream is probably not the best thing or the healthiest thing. Probably exercise is a better idea to get
Okay,
those
Exercise
fine.
is actually way better than ice cream.
to
Or
get
why
You
not
those
both
guys,
at the same
listen-
time? You'll run
yes.
around while having like an ice cream cone. Just
while you're crying.
But you know, it helps though. It helps mentally, like to get those.
Yeah,
It
those
changes.
happy
It
hormones
really
come
does
out.
some
The
things.
happy hormones come out.
Yes.
If you need a distraction, you need to be out of your environment, go travel, take a trip, spend time with friends. I don't know what else. I think there's so many more things that everyone can do instead of just sitting at home and venting on social media.
I
Or
just
I
want
think
to
another
say
important
this.
thing
Oh yeah.
thing is like you build your self-esteem, because like the common denominator in all our experiences is you feel, you question yourself, like is
Mhm.
it me, like what did I do, what am I lacking? But if you build your self-esteem, you know your self-worth, you know that when you get rejected in this one experience, it's not you, right? Like because you are confident, you know what you're worth and you know what you're capable of doing. If this is your opinion of me, okay, fine, that's your opinion. I'm going to move on to the next one because I know I'm worth it.
And to that point, Sister Marisol, because that was fire. Oh, Marisol. I want to say failure is an opportunity to acknowledge a mistake and assess what you can do better next time. So that's, I mean, just everything you said, just on point,
hmm
Marisol. Seriously, like,
yeah, and I
yeah.
got to chime in on that too because in my personal dictionary, I looked up failure, and failure means, see if we can see it there, follow
Um,
applications in learning until realizing excellence. So you keep trying, you apply yourself. Don't just stay there. Keep applying, keep trying, keep doing, keep learning until eventually you build up the skill that you need to achieve that excellence. And maybe it even is luck. And that's when you experience also that sometimes it is luck. And then, when you're rejected, you release expectations, just experience correct thinking. In the moment, you want this thing. Like when you had that crush. Like my expectations were, oh, okay, there's this romanticized view of things, but then that wasn't the case. It was incorrect. And then eventually you just experience correct thinking. Life isn't this romantic thing, or maybe it is, maybe it isn't, maybe it's not the right situation, but you put those feelings out there, you release with the people that are close to you, your circle, and they're your sounding board, like, hey, mom, no, I wasn't buying drugs, I like this girl, I spent the money I had on it. And then she's like, well, that's not the case, and it's not the case at that time, and eventually there is a happy ending.
Okay, that was fun. I had to screenshot those, Jeff.
Sure, right,
All
right,
right,
yeah.
we,
Yeah.
we have to we have to move on, but I do want to say when we talk about being with people who know you and then surrounding yourself with friends to help you get through it. At the same time, if your friends are the reason why you can't move on because they keep telling you you're not, keep reinforcing their rejection that you experienced. I don't want to say get new friends, but stay away from them. Maybe limit your interaction, because you need someone at this point to listen to you and to also remind you, like what Marisol said about with her kids, like you've been in situations before where you were able to overcome, to remind you that you are a good person, you have great qualities, you can do this. Uh, could be redirection, could be you had a bad day, could be they had a bad day, but distance yourself from those people because that kind of negative energy you can internalize, and then you start not believing in yourself. So, or then tell them, I don't really need this kind of negativity right now. Can we, can I, let's take a break. Or
Maybe
something.
they're not really friends, right? Like, because friends don't do that to each other.
We cannot talk about when
Yeah.
friends reject you. Oh no. Okay. Except for the sales thing. Yeah. No, that's true. Sometimes we move on to different phases in life and people drop off, and that's normal. And that's okay because other people come into your life that will get you to where you're going to or where you want to go. So, all right, we are basically out of time. So we're going to go straight to our CFO in action, our Kuya Tech. He's not ready because he wasn't. Are you ready?
Activity updates.
Oh no. Okay. Well, we want our CFO in action, but our one activity that we're going to announce is Friday, June 7th, we have our CBI Let's Learn Together about public transportation safety. And then every Sunday, we have the vow prayer for our students. And then check with your local congregation for details on local events and the daily Bible study schedule. All right, but now we're ready for our CFO in action.
CFO in action.
The CWS officers and CWS members in the District of New Jersey gathered together in their individual local congregations to hold their monthly meeting. Each local congregation discussed important topics that helped them grow and strengthen their faith. They were also given reminders and recognized birthday celebrants. The meeting provided an opportunity for fellowship and mutual support among the young members and strengthened the bonds within the congregations. The CWS members of the locale of Philadelphia were able to meet up together to participate in the CWS storytelling activity. This further strengthened their bond with one another as brothers and sisters in the faith. Led by District Minister Brother Alex M. Reyes, the District of New Jersey promises to always unite with all the endeavors of the Christian family organizations. And this was our CFO in action the last week. From the District of New Jersey, this is Sister Marisol Dagatot. More on CFO in action next week. See ya!
All right. Thanks for that, Marisol, even though you're here today. All right. We're going to start off with our shout out since we have to go in a few, starting with Naima. Naima, you want to shout out anybody?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to you guys for this awesome topic. This is really great. A shout out to my siblings for allowing me to continue to keep pushing and being the singer person I am today. And my students, I learned so much from them. That's why I work with kids to keep you young. So I love them, and I really want to just continue to grow and be a better person. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Naima. Thanks for spending the time with us. All right, next, Marisol. You have any shout outs?
Yes, I just want to say belated happy birthday to Gabriel. He is now 14 and he's excited to find a job. He's been looking forward to becoming 14 so he can find a job. So get ready, get that resume working, Gabriel. And also advance happy birthday to my sister-in-law, Sister Naomi. That's it.
Nice, nice. All right. Your last, Jeff. Any shout outs?
Okay, of course, got to read my home locale of Bergen and have to greet someone here and the Fernandez family and the result of all those rejections, because all the rejections led me to, somebody special. And have some birthday shout outs too. So happy birthday to Sharon Morata. Happy birthday to our very own ZJ Magante. Happy birthday to Dean Bunting over in New York. Happy birthday also to Carmencita Paras from San Fernando, Pampanga. And happy birthday to our very own Brother Bernard Garzon. And happy birthday to Brother Michael DePano.
Wow, happy birthday. Okay, real quick, I just want to say hi to my mom, Mama Gigi, and my sister Lara, who are there in the live chat. And I want to read some comments as much as I can before we have to go. So we first want to say hello to Mario Oka, all the way from the Philippines. Greetings from the locale of Brixtonville, District of Caloocan North. Also, hello to Geb. Is it Jeb or Geb? Barrientos. I think it's Jeb. All the way from Orange County, California. Hello, hello. We also want to say hello to Sister Malka Newcomb, all the way from Nevada. All right, some comments from our live chat. Who do we have? Michelle Rizal. Thanks for tuning in. Rejection is painful, but we can learn from it, and it's easier to cope up with when there's someone who can understand you and support you at that time. Also, from Grace Evangelista, good friends and sushi is also a great way to deal with rejection. Well, if that's your favorite food, yes, it is. Friends with your favorite food. Okay. And I think I was like, and I think that's all the time that we have. So I'm gonna toss it over to Actually, take 1 second. I know our hashtag winners. We don't have time for the bumper, but fourth place, honorable mention from last week, Winslow. Third place, Aston. Second place, Philadelphia, and first place, Elizabeth. Proud of you, Elizabeth, and proud of everybody who comes in and hashtags. You guys keep us on our toes. All right, now we really have to go. Turning it over to Jeff.
And that is it for today's show. Thank you to everyone who tuned in and listened. We'd like to thank our church administration for their continued support to INC Radio and allowing us to have this show where we can stay connected and learn together and just spend this time with each other because we are in your circle. Thank you to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo Manalo, and also our CFO Coordinator, Brother Angelo Manalo.
And before we say goodbye, we again thank all of our loving viewers for taking the time to watch the show. We hope today's topic has given some ideas on how to handle and manage yourself when facing rejection and failure, and also how to help those who may be dealing with the same situation. See you on the next episode. Bye.